All right, I'm Beck Lane. This is Catalyst and Company. Catalyst and Company, where we're catalysts in each other's lives as well as our own. And we work towards being the artist we've always wanted to be, or we are being the artist we've always wanted to be. However you want to use that, keep that in your mind while you're working. But always work on getting better and evolving and changing and learning, and not just staying stuck in what you know, the only thing that you know. This is, that's what I try to do every day, and I hope other people kind of follow that lead a little bit. Anyway, behind me is a mural, not a mural, design, but it's a foam mural that I'm setting up. I'm trying to learn new techniques and new ideas and how I can set things up quickly and easily and get myself into a rhythm while I'm waiting for my canvases to come back from my friend. It's been a while, so I'm just stuck waiting, and instead of sitting around and binge watching stuff all day long, I've been working on several different ideas and changing things up. I did finish, I've been waiting like 10 days for these canvases to come back, and I've done 4 paintings since in that time period. And so I'm setting up a 5th one, a 5th mock mural. I just got it started, but in the waiting, it's allowed me to do this. I did 2 murals, and I'm going to show you the second one that's almost done, not quite, but almost done. I've done 2 murals of Soong May-ling. She was the first lady of China during World War II, and she was highly prominent and influential. And I've been fascinated by her face since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I opened up, our family had one encyclopedia set. We weren't, my father was a lawyer, so his place was filled with law books. It was very specific, like me. He was very specific and very driven on the law. And he carved out several niches within the parameters of being an attorney. And one became too dangerous for him to do, so it was being a prosecutor. It became too dangerous for he and the family. I don't think he cared about himself that much, but for the family. So then he moved on to probate law and wills and estates and carved out that niche. But he was also a tax law attorney. He did a lot of different things within the parameters of the law, and I'm realizing now that I'm doing the same thing as a painter and as an artist. I've carved out several niches for myself and tried to perfect, to my best ability, those niches. And so we're looking at another one behind me, another niche, something I didn't know, I've thought about doing, but I hadn't thought about really truly working on until the mural project popped up. Remember, coffee. So I've actually found, I'm starting to find a rhythm and a way and a reasoning. So I've set up this wall. This is plastic sheeting because I don't have any canvases, and I'm not going to ask you to buy me more because it's so expensive. But I'm taking the plastic sheeting that I use to wrap the paintings in before I put them in storage or we send them out. I've been using old plastic sheeting and gessoing it, not with white, because white, I can't paint on white, but I've been using a gray, and a gray or a gray with a brown tone. It's kind of, it kind of reflects any wall that I may have the opportunity to work on in the future. So I've taken the plastic sheeting, I have taped it up nice and tightly, so it's pretty firm as plastic can be. Plastic sheeting can be on the wall. Given it the gray gesso, and I started laying out movement. Nothing too specific, although we do have a seated figure, the idea of a seated figure here. You can see there are swirlies, there are all kinds of things. The swirlies I had first drawn out with chalk, so I'm reminded to not just paint the figure. It's to think of the entire surface and to give it a rhythm, so that when as we start moving along, You know, I'm not just focused on that guy. What's happening over here? What's happening over here? What's happening down there? And how is it going to draw the viewer's eye in? How are we going to keep the viewer interested, where they just don't look at it, go, and walk on, going for coffee and walk on? How are we going to pull them in and hold them there, whether they're from a distance or close up? And this is, again, something that I've learned, I've honed in on in my canvas work, in the fine art, street mix of canvas art. But now we're taking it and translating it even further and sharpening it a little bit further into these mural ideas. And I'm going to show you May-ling, the second May-ling behind me. I have to pick up my iPad and it's going to bounce around. So just bear with me. So professional. Nothing but professional equipment here. So here's the second edition of Soong May-ling. And Soong, turn it a little bit. I'm not particularly happy with her face, but it's okay. We're gonna stick with it. There's things that I want to do to her face, but I'm not sure. I think I just got to think about it for a little bit. I don't want to keep charging ahead. And oh my God, thought I had this down pat. Wait a minute. I thought we were at least a little set up. Boopity boop. Okay, close enough. Anyway, I don't want to keep working at her and then end up with a mess, and that's all I'm focused on. So what I did in this mural project is she's the first First Lady of China, and as I said, I've been obsessed with her face since I was 4 or 5 years old, and I actually did a painting on canvas of her, and I took it down to Chase and Gallery several years ago, along with a batch of paintings. And the next day, after I dropped it off, this couple walked in and said, "What's new?" They had just gotten back here in Sarasota, walked in and said, "What's new?" And Andrew and Mark pulled out this painting of May-ling, Soong May-ling, and they said, "We'll take it." But in that particular portrait, her face had a lot of lines in it and different colors. She was totally different. In my portraiture on murals, what I really want to get into is just using pretty much grays with a little bit of color underneath, but primarily grays. So once again, just like the canvas pieces, the canvas portraits, I'm not focused on having the correct skin color and me saying this is how I evaluate the perfect skin color for this race of people. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. It's ugh, ew. So I think I just want to stick with grays on faces for the most part. That's not a hardened rule, but for the most part. When I was setting her up, though, I did the same thing that I did over there. It was a circle. It was the basic idea of her face, and then I went up and around and I drew these circles and swirlies so I would remember to keep a rhythm going. I said this is the second time I've done this. The first time I did it, her face was in teals, and it did not work on this scale. She came out a teal mess, and I kept trying to fix her and kept trying to fix her, and it just went ew. And because I had this heavy plastic sheeting hanging on top over, I don't think you can see it, but up here, this is, I've got kids construction paper or craft paper, and that's got a layer of teal on it. And underneath that, I have another plastic sheet, so I can just keep changing things and I don't have to worry about getting paint on the walls. But poor Soong May-ling got so tired of the whole thing, and the tape got tired of it, and the weight of it all, that she eventually just fell off the wall. She just came down, and I kept trying to tape her up, and I'm like, I'm going to fix her. But the plastic sheeting, and I want you to take note of this, the plastic sheeting became too weighty, too baggy, because the tape wasn't holding anymore. New or old tape was not holding it on the wall anymore. So Madame said enough is enough. Boom, down she went. And I said, you know what, I got to try her again anyway. Reset up the entire wall, pulled everything as tight as I could. The plastic sheeting, still there's a lot of air in there, and air gets back in there. but it's tighter than it was, and I'm actually really glad it happened, so that I would have the opportunity to really think it through. Again, I was too focused on the face and not the rest of it, and I was trying out different line work and different things, and it became a mess, a convoluted mess of teal and marker, and so glad she's gone. It gave me the opportunity to fix it. So there are multi layers of colors on there, which you can kind of see in the video, but not quite. There's probably 3 layers of reds, 2 or 3 layers of red, 2 or 3 layers of oranges, all on top of each other, so we can just highlight and darken and just keep playing with patterns. We took the orange, I started this off with yellow, like on the first wall I showed you. Started this off with yellow, not my favorite color. However, I have a couple cans of it. So started off with yellow, different shades of yellow, and then started adding from there. She is primarily, as I said, red and orange, but we had nice yellow outline here. It was sharp at first, the yellow circle going around, spread it out so it was kind of fadey, built it up with the yellows and oranges, and then started building over the yellows and oranges over here using blues, teals, and then towards the end adding in oranges. So we've got everything is cohesive and it keeps working together. I'm pretty excited about this. It's not totally done, it's almost there. You can see that the peonies, which are the national flower for China, and the butterflies, which are considered good luck, or were considered good luck, they're not only sprayed on using aerosol, but they're outlined, all the little blossoms, the cherry blossoms, the cherry branches, the leaves, they're all outlined with black, using a flat black aerosol. These 3 peonies were started with a flat black surface as well as her face. I had sprayed and then painted on, I sprayed on flat black surface, not totally black, but using black and gray, solid black and gray, just in different areas. We are mixing it up. The butterflies were sprayed on. I outlined them with black acrylic, and then outlined them with a light blue pen, acrylic marker pen. They're outlined with the light blue acrylic marker pen as well as the peonies. And so everything really kind of pops. I have to go in now and add the light blue acrylic marker pen to the cherry blossoms. And these are cherry branches with cherry blossoms on them. And they're flying around as well. But I've got to outline the cherry blossoms with the light blue pen. And then I think she's done. She's done. This is actually not going to be for sale because once I take it down, the plastic, once it folds, it has petroleum in the mix. Plastic is made up of petroleum, so nothing is going to stick to it. So she's coming down. The paint will peel off. So this is very, very temporary, and it doesn't break my heart really. It's practice, 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 and because we can post this online, there's always a record of it anyway. I can go back to it through Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. Now, the last time you heard from me, I was very, 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 very despondent over the mural project falling apart. Not just for me, but also for the people that invested in me and supported me, and that because of this project. It was embarrassing. It was extremely upsetting. It was a bit of a blow to the ego, but I've had days and days and days to think about it and why I'm so crushed. It was the investment that you made in me. And so in respecting the investment, we're just going to keep working. We're just going to keep working towards the next set of goals and developing ideas and images. We're using what you gave me, what you helped me to get, and help, all the support that you sent. So we're just going to keep working to respect that, because I feel very strongly that the other party was not respectful of you, of your investment, was not, this is why I've been so upset, not respectful of you and your investment and your belief in me, not respectful of me as an artist, and not respectful of the images that we could have created. They put up their second slapdash mural last weekend, and I have nothing good to say about it. Nothing. I won't say anything bad about the artist. They're doing the best they can. The best that they can. But oftentimes when people hire an artist, they're like, well, if you do this, you can do it. You know, you can specialize in anything. They don't see an the specifics. Like my dad with law. They don't see the specifics in what each artist does. It's just, you will do this. I will tell you you're going to do this. I will ask you to do this. I will tell you you're going to do this. Then I'll change my mind 8,000 times. But no matter what your skill set is, I'm going to ignore it all and decide that you can do this. And the fellow who did it does not specialize in faces. He does not specialize in figure work, and that is a specialty. He does decorative painting. So it's an entirely different mindset. And I do have friends, like our friend Carrie Keiss in Colorado, who went from doing faux art and decorative art. She has learned to specialize in figure work and portrait work. And that does need to be respected, and she makes sure that it is. She's protective of what she does. She's protective of the images she creates and of the client as well. And so this, in that mix, there's so many different emotions and feelings that come up, and so much anger in the disrespect for what either party does, the guy that did the work or me. It's mind-blowing. It is absolutely mind-blowing. So I'm going to start reaching in another direction. The project is actually, you wouldn't believe how specific this is to me. We were made for each other, absolutely tailored to a T. As you know, I specialize in taking tiny, this is tiny, this is a teeny tiny photograph from an encyclopedia that was printed before I was born, so over 60 years ago. Tiny grainy photograph. I take tiny grainy photographs primarily of black and brown people, African American people, blow them up and make them into portrait and figure work. But tiny okay, let me try that again. Tiny grainy photographs of black and brown African American people between the 1800s and 1940s, and blow them up into colorful images, colorful portrait and figure work. It is very, very specific. And that skill set is exactly what was needed for the mural project. But instead, they said, no, we're going to go with somebody who doesn't do any of that, and we're not going to pay him. So that's what's happened. It's taken me a while to filter it through and to define it, and I'm still trying to process the whole thing. But I need my talents, like you. We need our talents respected. We need our niches respected. You know, you don't hire a bicycle repairman to work on a Harley Davidson. That's not how life works. And so we need to have that understanding of ourselves when we go into a project. Say you're hired to be that bicycle repairman, and you're told, well, since this has two wheels and goes down the road, you can fix my Harley Davidson, you will do it, and I'm not paying you for it. That's not something that would go on in the real world. And if you can't, in a lot of different professions, it wouldn't happen. So you've got to understand, if you're the bicycle repairman, you don't specialize in Harley Davidsons. Take it to the Harley Davidson dealer or Harley Davidson repairman. Along the same vein, you wouldn't hire some random guy who's a fry cook at McDonald's to build your house. Like, it makes no sense to me. And unfortunately, this is what I've run into a lot. There are several lessons in this story. There are several lessons going on in this story. For you, for me, this hurt really bad, because I told the committee of this mural project that it cost over $800. It actually costs 2.5 times more than that. Between you and me, costs about 2.5 times more than that to invest in a project that the organizers weren't even taking seriously. Apparently, we learned in the end. So, a lot. This is unfortunately the second time it's happened in the past few months with the commission. Again, I did look into the organizers, and you got to hear this so you don't make this mistake that I keep making over and over again. I did look into the organizers. I looked into the three groups that were putting this together or involved in this in some way, and we have mutual friends. And I want to live in a world where a handshake and a nod is all we need. We can get going, and it'll be handled professionally, and everything will be good and beautiful, and we can work together, build a relationship, and work together forevermore. The end. But it's happened now, actually 3-4 times in a row where it's been a handshake. It's been I had one company owner who was incredibly interested in my work because it worked with the product that he's selling, and we were going to merge and do these shows together and blah, 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 blah. And the last time I saw him, because I hadn't heard from him, he had stopped emailing me, stopped texting. I hadn't heard from him in a while, so I went to his place and I go, hey, what's going on? And he said, oh, I was so inspired by you that I went to Miami and I'm going to have artists from Miami come in. Okay, that one didn't cost me anything. It was just what it was. It is what it is. It's just dumb. But I'd also taken a commission, and I don't take commissions without a deposit and without a contract and a third party involved. I don't. It keeps everybody above board. I get the supplies that I need. Everything's out in the open. Unfortunately, I took a commission. I came home. I worked on it. I bought the supplies for it. Did the project. Kept the client updated as well as the third party involved. So everything was above board. And then I got strung along. Oh, we want to do a studio visit. We're so excited. We want to do a studio visit. They never did the studio visit over a 3-month period. Never did the studio visit. The third party involved never got a deposit on it. Oh, he can be trusted. I've known him for a long time. Blah, blah, blah. Never happened. In the end, I've got just another painting sitting in my storage unit, or in my little storage room, my bedroom, that I don't even know what to do with at this point. And I'm so angry, I kind of want to set it on fire and stab it a lot, but I won't, because the right person is out there. But this is a recurring theme. When you deal with people on a handshake level, things will dissipate, things will fall apart, because they have no commitment to you as the vendor, as the product designer, as the developer, as the artist. You're just an artist. This is a lesson we all learn. I just have been doing this so long, I have to keep relearning it over and over again. Let me get my coffee. Plus, I love a handshake. I love living in a world where you can give a handshake, and that's your word is your bond. But so, the mural project was the third or fourth time in a few months that this has happened, and it leaves me devastated. Stand-up guys, we've got mutual friends, we know mutual people, but I'm just the artist, so I don't matter. My money doesn't matter, my time doesn't matter. Please don't put yourself in that position. You're nothing else, don't put yourself in that position. If you work with a third party, who cares what their percentage is? Because they will help keep everything out in the open. Get a contract. You can find them online. All kinds of commission contracts are available online. Get the friggin' deposit. No handshakes. No, we've got mutual friends. No, he can be trusted or she can be trusted. They can be trusted. Protect yourself. because in the end, you could end up like me in a ball crying for several weeks and angry for, I don't know, years that this happened, that you trusted someone and it happened. All right, so I'm going to finish her up by putting in the blue pencil line. Oh, and thank you to everybody who's been helping out. I actually kind of ran out of food because the mural project took everything. So friends have contacted me and they're helping because I literally ran out of food. Food pantry is out of food too, by the way. You're welcome. I can live for a week on one tiny can of chicken soup. Food pantry lady, that's awesome. Thank you. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up. Thank you to everybody who's supporting me, who helped to support me through the mural project development. Thank you for believing in me, and I hope you feel that I didn't fail you, although I kind of did, because handshake. So I'm going to finish up the blue lines. I'm going to do the cherry blossoms. I'm darkening up the lines in the cherry blossom limbs. I'll outline them, and then we'll go back to this figure over here, which is a gentleman from the Willard Bullard photography portfolio, which I'll get into in another video. Once again, painting black and brown African American people from grainy black and white photographs between the 1800s and 1940s. It's my obsession, and I can't help it, but luckily I found a photographer who was just as obsessed. We'll talk about him, we'll talk about William Bullard and his community in another video. Okay, Carrie, ready? Cheer, cheer, meow, meow, meow.